Hey guys, I wanted to jump on for a second and give you a little mini episode, and I promise to make this one actually mini, but I've been going through a lot of growth over the last couple weeks, and I've had this realization that the Seeking Sunshine podcast has had a lot more heaviness, a lot more darkness than I ever maybe intended for it. And so it's time to bring more sunshine and more joy and more happiness to the show. And so I'm going to try to add more mini episodes like this where we just focus on joy, as well as bringing more positivity and joy to the bigger episodes that come every week. However, I do have a lot of episodes that have already been recorded and really incredible guests. And so this shift is going to happen, but it might take a little bit of time. But so for today, I wanted to, well, first of all, you might be able to tell that I am definitely sick. My voice it's there. I can talk. I've actually not been able to talk for the last couple of days, but I'm here, I'm speaking, and that's amazing. But I wanted to talk about what brings you joy. What is the sunshine in your life? What I've been thinking about is every time that I go onto somebody else's podcast and I tell my story and I talk about, the decade where I was taking care of my husband with his disability, as well as, our 3 kids and their struggles, what it always came down to was this question of how did you get through it? And the answer, after a lot of thinking, I finally realized was that I made stuff. If you don't know me very well, this might come as a surprise. And if you do know me, then it definitely will not, because if you know me well, then you'll know that I'm a maker. I have been making stuff since I could walk. When I was when I was in elementary school, I made myself a skirt to wear to my first dance. Like, I didn't know how to use a sewing machine and I sewed it by hand. And then the button, yes, I put a button on it. The button broke when I was halfway through the school day and they wanted to send me home to change. And I refused to do that because I made this skirt for the school dance. And there was no way that I was not going to wear my skirt that I made to the school dance. And so what I've come to realize is that in the darkest parts of my life, I made my own sunshine. I found a way to take control in my life when I felt the most powerless. And I made things that everyone around me, kind of told me not to do. They told me, I really felt like everyone was telling me that this was a waste of my time and that I shouldn't have been doing those things. And yet, now looking back, I'm like, that's how I kept my sanity. One of the craziest things that I did was I taught our women's group at church. And one year for Valentine's Day, I made Jolly Rancher roses. And I should tell you that I hate cooking. I'm not a cook. So the things I was making were not food, by the way. I was making like jewelry, and I was making like one year for my kids' school Valentines to hand out to everyone in their class. By the way, I made homemade crayons in the shape of puzzle pieces because my kids have autism. So we took crayons. I say it was all me. I took crayons and peeled all the wrappers off, which if you've never done this, it is such a pain. Took the wrappers off all the crayons, chopped them all up and made these like rainbow puzzle piece crayons. They were so gorgeous. It was a crazy project and had such a cool outcome. Anyways, back to the Jolly Rancher roses. I took Jolly Ranchers and melted them in the microwave and molded them into rose petals. And it was this insane project that burnt my fingers and took so much time, but the result was so, so beautiful. And I'm realizing as I look back on my life, like I took nothing. Like I took these materials that were cheap and free and these materials that were, kind of worthless to so many people, and I turned them into these gorgeous, beautiful, amazing things that just held so much beauty for me. So much more beauty because I'd put so much work into them. And I brought the sunshine into my own life. Like, I made my own sunshine. And I never realized how powerful that was until this week, as I've been diving into my own personal history, and just it's been powerful, and it's been painful, and it's been amazing. I tell you what, a personal growth journey is it's something we all need, and it's not easy. It's not easy. But my point here is that we make our own sunshine. We do it ourselves. It's not something that maybe we happen upon or we just discover out of nowhere. You have to create it yourself. And I bet you that you're already doing it in ways that you don't even realize. I bet you that you are. And what's been interesting is I've noticed that over the last couple years, I've kind of shed that part of who I am, right? In college, I studied, I actually double majored in sewing and costume design. Like, sewing was in the School of Family Life, and then sewing and costume design was in the theater major. And I made so many things in college because that was part of my major. I love making things with my hands. And there were so many cool things. I mean, I made fairy wings and crowns for theater, and I made a lot of really cool things. But then I graduated, and I stopped making so many things. And with Joshua's diabetes diagnosis in 2018, that sort of ended our family Halloween costume thing. I was making for 9 years in a row, 9 years in a row, I made matching family Halloween costumes. Like, we had a theme, and I made them from scratch, and they were amazing. And it was this huge thing every year. And I poured my whole heart and soul into it. Excuse me one second. Sorry, I am still sick. And then Joshua got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes in 2018, and I had put everything into our Halloween costumes, and he was diagnosed right before Halloween, and we missed all of Halloween. We didn't get to go out at all that year, and it devastated me. And I promised my husband I wouldn't do it again. And that was sort of the decline of me making things. And I have been shedding that part of my personality over the last few years. And I've come to realize that although I make fewer things by hand, and if I have the opportunity to buy something for somebody instead of making them a gift like I used to always do, I will take it. But what I'm realizing is that I actually do still make stuff. I make music, for one. I write custom songs for people, which I just finished up one, and I'm in the middle of another one. I had two that kind of came simultaneously, and guys, I love it so much. I love creating music. Like, I love it to my core. And then the other thing that I get to make is I make quotes for my podcast every week. I take the quotes from each episode, and I make them into these really pretty graphics. And yeah, neither of these two things that I'm making on a regular basis are with my hands. They're not messy. I mean, goodness knows my kids are messy enough as it is, but I'm still making things. I'm still being creative on a regular basis. And so my question for you is, what are you doing to make sunshine in your life right now? Because I bet that you're doing it and you don't even recognize it. So that's my question. Oh, and then as we leave off, I actually am going to add a little clip on here because I think it'll be super fun. I decided to do something a little, I don't know. I can be kind of spontaneous, guys, and I'm a little crazy. It's okay. I bought some sound bowls because if you don't know what that is, I'm going to post a reel with this too, and it's super fun. If you've never heard of a sound bath or sound healing, go Google it, search it on YouTube. Sound bowls. I bought some crystal sound bowls, just a couple of them. And you you hit it with a mallet and it makes this amazing, gorgeous tone. And my goal is to learn how to play them really well and then sing with these sound bowls and make this really gorgeous, angelic, sound. And I'm not quite there yet. And also I'm sick. So when I played it just now for this little recording, it was not maybe the angelic sound I hope. Plus I only got them this week. So I haven't had a whole lot of time to practice, but they're so amazing and they're so cool. So I thought I'd give you a little teaser taster of what those kind of sound like. So I recorded a little clip of those. Hopefully I can play that and it doesn't sound super weird on the recording. But they're so healing and angelic. And so that's just my little what's bringing me joy is taking deep breaths and pausing, recognizing when life's getting overwhelming, and then listening to this sound that is so beautiful and so calming and so healing. So that's my end of my episode. My challenge for you is recognize the ways that you are making sunshine in your own life and be a sunshine maker. Find ways to make sunshine in the lives of others, and then take more deep breaths because we all need that. Thanks for listening. And I'm going to add that little clip on right now. Have an amazing day.